the champion, all right? You deserve an invite when you win one. You gotta at least try to go back-to-back. And my team was me, Chica, T-Pain. There was 2 other teams, okay? We were Team Rift. The other teams were Hack, the losing team. Now, I initially first place, Hack's third place. They're only in third by 1 point. We get to choose whether to hack second or third because we're in first. That's like your privilege. The issue is that Team Rage Quit, even though they were able to hack whoever they wanted, also hacked third place. So imagine this, you're in third place. You're trying to come back in a contest. Both first and second hack you to keep you dumb and broke. They were not very happy. If you just look at their facial expressions while they're playing Fall Guys, they're genuinely pissed off. I've never seen Kaede more mad in my life. I was genuinely scared of her. I was actually scared of her, real. And for whatever reason, the beef continues. Not only did Respawn get double hacked by first and second, third place hacked second place. I don't know why. They should have hacked first to try to keep us out of the contest, but they didn't. And so, first place team, me going into Fall Guys against people who don't really know how to play Fall Guys, guess what happened? I win every Fall Guys game. I'm not exaggerating. I win basically every single Fall Guys game that I tried to win.
Berlizzi and company are feeling pretty solid here, but they got to be able to get on top of there. They're losing 2 players at the same time. Oh, no, that is unfortunate. It's Ludwig yet again, just owning this competition.
Listen, if I ever play Fall Guys, I know who I want on my squad.
Yes.
I also want to point out, you know, you guys got the spot kit. You also didn't get hacked again. People aren't seeing you guys as a threat, even though you're in first place, which I don't really understand the rationale.
You think that's a mistake, T-Pain?
Look, man, I'm just standing in the background, going unnoticed. It's the sleeper tactic, baby.
I like it.
You know?
Yeah.
I like it.
Somehow we came out on top with all this not hacking and no threats. No big deal. Y'all keep doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Berlizzi, just keep doing it.
It's working out so far for you guys.
You hacked us.
And so not only are we in first, we are extending our first place lead. Then we go on to the physical challenge with the Zorbs. We do pretty well. I believe we get second place, which is enough to hold on to first. This is now 3 weeks in a row we are in first place. And we go to our final week of the contest. Now, going into this final week, it's the same thing. There's a gaming challenge and there's a physical challenge. And whoever has the most points at the very end is the winner. It's not like it goes to a head-to-head. It's just whoever has the most points wins. And the the final game is Fortnite. Now, because Klitz is very good at Fortnite, Team Respawn decides to hack Team Rage Quit. I think this makes sense. I think third place hacking second place because they have Klitz on their team makes sense. I don't disagree with this. The weird thing is Team Rage Quit decides to hack Team Respawn, aka second place decides to impede third place. There is no logic in this. There is no effort to win the game whatsoever. And the result of it is that we, first place, have 0 hacks at all going into Capture the Flag. Now, it's true that we don't have a Fortnite pro, but Chica's very good at Fortnite. I know how to shoot a couple of shots. So you can watch the footage yourself. You know what happens is we win by capturing the flag 5 times. The other 2 teams only capture the flag once. T-Pain literally captured the flag 4 of the time. T-Pain's not very good at Fortnite. He's not a Fortnite pro, but it's not that hard to run up, grab a flag, run back to your base.
And Chica's got the final flag. She locks it in. Team Rift picks up the win.
Let's go!
What do you mean? Hey, stop playing.
Why don't they hack us,
Alt
man?
F4. Wait, Rift won?
Yeah, we won,
we're done.
bro.
Alt F4. Let it go. I'm in my trailer.
And they claim victory in Fortnite. Capture the flag.
And so what happens is we get first 5 points. The other 2 teams are tied, which means that they both get 3 points, meaning that is a 2-point lead. And if you look at the scoreboard after the gaming section, we have mathematically won the game. Like, there's no way around this fact. Mathematically, we have won the game. We have won the entire gamerhood because there's 4 points that separate first and second place, but you can only gain 3 points on a team in any individual challenge. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Ludwig, why is this video called I Got Scammed Out of $100,000? If you mathematically were in first place, didn't you just get the 100K and it was over? No. Because at the end of the day, we're still making TV here. All right? And the producers came over. They're like, guys, we ran the math. All right, mathematically, this contest is over. But we set up this whole final challenge, and we'd like for there to be some stakes on it. You know, we'd like for it to matter in some way. So we have an idea. we would like to do a side bet. And they come up with this side bet idea to do a 1v1 between second and third place for 5 points. The loser of which would give 5 of their points to the winner. Now, I'm doing the math here. I'm like, okay, wait, hold up. So if this happens, then not only does another team become able to win this challenge, not only are they in contention, they would just be first place. I was like, wait, this doesn't make, there's no way we should lose first place off a side bet we aren't even a part of. So I'm like, okay, can we make it lower points? They're like, all right, we'll make it 4 points. And Nick A30 does a 1v1 against Clicks. Now, the entire week, Clicks and Nick A30 were tripping at each other. Nick's like, I can beat you in a 1v1, Clicks. I'm really good at Fortnite. I've gotten a lot better. I can beat you in a 1v1. I'm going to beat you in a 1v1. Nick A30 lied. He might be family friendly, but he's also full of delusion. He got 7-0. He got destroyed. He got absolutely crushed. Thrown to the wind. Laid out flat. I wouldn't even call it a car wreck. I've been in one. It was worse than that. And the result is that we are still in first place, but by only 1 point. We went from mathematically being the champions to only 1 point separating first and second. Team Respawn, because of Nick A30's loss, is mathematically out of first. We're out. It's GG. Now, the final challenge was this paintball gun orb challenge, where orbs fall down this like little slanted wall. You shoot the most paintball gun, whoever shoots the most orbs. The first team to go up is Team Rage Quit, and they do pretty well. Their first round goes kind of bad, but their second and third round, they make up for it. Then Team Respawn goes. And as teams keep going, we realize that it is actually a huge benefit to hack a team while they are going. Because basically when you're not playing, you have an ability to hack them, which raises these walls. What that does, though, is slow down the orbs, giving you more time to shoot them. So by the time it was our turn to go, teams knew this, and we never got hacked. So the balls were flying way faster on ours than they were on the other teams. Now, our second and third round went off normally. I was hacked this whole time, so my gun was like basically jammed. It kind of sucked. But, you know, we were able to get all the gold balloons, which was our buff, which was like plus 5 points. And we weren't sure until the closing ceremony. And while the closing ceremony is getting set up, they're having everyone stage themselves. They're like, all right, Respawn, you guys stand in the furthest back here. And they're like, oh, yeah, we got last place. And then they have Jake from State Farm in the front. And they're like, hey, Rage Quit, why don't you guys stand next to Jake from State Farm? And I'm like, wait, hold on. And I pull a producer aside. I'm like, what's going on here? And he's like, yeah, you guys lost. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you guys lost the State Farm Gamerhood Challenge. You got third place with like 160 whatever orbs. And Team Rage Quit got first place with 180. I'm like, run me through this math. And they run me through some math on like a notepad. I don't have enough info to argue it. And before I know, I am in a final shot where Team Rage Quit is getting the keys to the kingdom, a giant check. Everyone's popping their little firework canister, and $100,000 is going to charity. Now, I want to preface before we go any further. I had a great time at the State Farm Gamerhood Challenge. I am happy that $100,000 is going to Students Against Disruptive Decisions. That is a very valuable charity, so I'm not even mad that Rage Quit won. However, it was so apparent, because we were in first place for basically 4 weeks, that our team was the best team at the State Farm Gamerhood Neo City, but we did not get the W because the other two teams were so bad. The rivalry was so tense for no reason. They made such boneheaded decisions that they had to do a Mickey Mouse side bet just to be in contention with us. Think about that for a moment. It was such a blowout that they basically, it's like you're playing soccer and you're winning by, like, let's just make up a random score, 7-1. And then they're like, oh, by the way, the next soccer ball is golden and it gives you 6 points. And so here's what I gotta say. I gotta say a big thank you to State Farm, because we still got $10,000 to Junior Achievement, which is a huge amount of money. Thank you to my teammates, Chica and T-Pain, for carrying me. But I better get an invite back. I don't know what role it is. All right, make me the game master. I don't care. I already have a key in my closet. I'm already a champion. I need revenge. And that's the conclusion for this year's State Farm Gamerhood Challenge. And there's no better way to end it than saying, welcome to the Gamerhood. Welcome to the Gamerhood, man. That's how it is. That's how it is at the Gamerhood. And everyone's a winner because everyone gets money going to charity.
Wanted to show you guys the inside of a GPU factory, and thanks to Power Color and Framework, we're finally doing it. But there's one small catch. In order to show us absolutely everything from start to finish, they have to shut down absolutely everything from start to finish, meaning that it is costing them hundreds to thousands of dollars a minute, and we are going to absolutely get kicked out after 3 hours. I think you can take notes faster than that. With the constraints, it's going to be a bit of a speed run, but maybe that's the fun. Speed fun, like the Speedy Segway.
Seasonic. You know Seasonic for their reliable and power-efficient power supplies. But now you can know them for affordability, too. Their Vertex lineup is on sale now at the link in the description.
Okay, it's not completely shut down. It'd be pretty boring to tour an abandoned factory, but we're told that this line would be running at anywhere from 2 to 3 times the speed during regular production. You can see, this is just waiting for it. While they're better known as Power Color, Tool has been around since 1997 and has produced graphics cards under multiple of their own brands, as well as for partners like Diamond in the past. They won't disclose their total manufacturing capacity to us, but let's put it this way. They're a Tier 1 AMD manufacturing partner, and even this small Taiwan-based manufacturing line can turn out about 20,000 units a month. They did invite us, right? When you're operating at this kind of scale, every little detail matters, even the very small ones. Here's a real good example of that. Shipments of surface mount components get inspected via X-ray to ensure that they are exactly what they say they are and that the right quantities are on each one of these tapes. This is done for both new shipments as well as reels that have been used multiple times for small production runs. So you can see this one has multiple count stickers on it and is now down to 3,728 V's. They also perform manual spot checks for both internal circuit components as well as PCBs. This is an engineered, flatness meter? I guess it's a super, super flat piece of granite. And basically, see that? If the variance from one end to the other is more than 0.2 millimeters, it's done. It's out. Now that all our components are validated, all we need is a quick anti-static shower, and we're ready to visit the SMT line, where they're going to be mounted to our boards. For step 1, we take those trays of PCBs and load them into the end of the line. Our timing is so good, we actually get to see that happen right now. Here we go. Oh, look, there it goes. Next up, we need to apply solder paste to every point on the board where a component will be placed. This is done by essentially just scraping a squeegee that is covered in paste over a stencil with the board sitting underneath. Now, something to note is that these stencils wear out after 1,000 or 10,000 placements, so every time they run a new model of GPU through, they have to inspect it to make sure it still has the appropriate thickness. Looks pretty good to me, but no one asked me. They asked the machine. In here, they inspect the application to ensure that it is accurate and it's the right quantity, and if an error gets noticed, the information is looped back to the previous stage so that it knows, something's not going quite right. Next, we get reunited with our old surface mount component friends who are loaded into the pick and place machine in the optimal locations in order to reach the maximum placement speed of 77,000 components per hour? Holy crap, look at this thing go. I have never seen a machine this fast, which makes sense because this is a state-of-the-art machine that runs at nearly double the speed of their main lines. And you guys have got how many of these things here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. But this investment makes a lot of sense when you consider what this facility is for. They're just 15 minutes from their R&D headquarters, so they will often do things like quality analysis, so they can transfer that knowledge to the main line, or development of new products, so speed and efficiency is of the essence. As you can see, the biggest components go on last, with this side of the machine handling VRMs, and this side handling display connections, and the really good stuff, like memory and GPU dies, which I'm told I get to load into the machine. Oh, there we go. Oh, too far. Is it in the wrong spot? Oh, I missed.
You get unlocked.
Oh, hey, okay. Well, I did it mostly right. If your GPU's in the wrong spot, you'll know who to blame. And there it is, a finished board. At least in the sense that a pizza with all the toppings on it is finished. Now we cook. But not in no regular oven, boys. This right here is the world's most advanced pizza oven. Not only does it have different temperature control for the different zones, but they build a special profile for every board that goes through it to ensure that the solder melts absolutely perfectly. And by perfect, I really do mean perfect. At the end of the baking process, they ensure that the solder melted correctly and that every component was positioned exactly perfectly by doing a 3D freaking scan. As you can see, this one, no good. It's got a lifted lead. That is so precise. Now it's done. JK. We still don't have a power connector and there's no capacitors. There are still some components that are better placed by human hands, so let's go visit that line. At least most of them will. 10 to 15% will get pulled aside proactively and sent to the X-ray inspection room, where they can use this machine to get a 3D view. My God, that is so cool. Of the BGA joints under components that cannot be visually inspected, like the memory and the GPU die. Now they let me in. At the first station, each jig gets 2 GPUs and any 8-pin PCIe power connectors. Then we get our fan header, followed by capacitors, some more capacitors, and finally, capacitors. Once that's all done, the back side of the board gets sprayed with flux. Then it gets pizza ovened again until the end of this machine where, oh my God, that is the coolest thing ever. The back of the board runs across a liquid solder waterfall in order to solder all of the through-board components. Man, I feel like a kid in a digital candy store here. After the backside gets soldered, our little tray gets plopped onto this little green belt and goes down for manual inspection. Oh, for some reason I thought it was gonna slide, but that makes more sense. If there's adequate coverage of solder, it goes into the middle, and if there isn't, it goes to the next station. Sometimes there just isn't quite enough solder, or 2 of the points are accidentally bridged, and that can be quickly repaired by a skilled technician. The touched up boards then get cleaned, all the schmoo gets removed, Then all the boards come back together for a final visual inspection, and our QA technician at the end of the line scans a QR code and says, hey, I checked this, it's definitely good to go. Moving upstairs, you can see we've upgraded the GPUs we're working on a little bit here. These are bound for 7800 XT Hellhound Sakura editions, just like you saw in our cutest QC video. And stage 1 is, yes, visual inspection again, I guess. For what? To make sure nothing broke? Yeah, to be extra good and sure. With that out of the way, it's time for assembly to begin in earnest, starting with little plastic washers over all the screw holes to make sure the PCB doesn't get scratched. I/O plate and, screwing on the I/O plate, that's very important. Next up, back plates go on, followed by those also being screwed in, which is equally important because you don't want your GPU to arrive in pieces. Then, oh God, I love these coolers. That looks gorgeous. All the protective peels come off the thermal pads and pre-applied thermal goop. Oh, that one didn't have any peels on it. I swear I saw one with peels earlier. I'm not gonna worry about that. The point is, the fan gets plugged in here. Then we've got 1, 2, 3 stations that all apply screws to the cooler through the back of the card, followed by another visual inspection that I think could best be described as sanity check, you know? Does the fan spin? Also a good thing. Wait. What about the second final station where each one of these cards gets loaded onto a test bench? They gotta have a lot of test benches. Yes, they do. And unlike the assembly lines, this part of the factory runs 24/7, with every single GPU being loaded into a full Windows environment and running a combination of AMD diagnostic tools and enthusiast ones.
Okay. This is going to dash and dongle waste. What we're going to want to do is
I have always wanted to show you guys, they're just 50 so cool, of the BGA joints under components that cannot be visually inspected, like the memory and the GPU die. Now they let me in. At the first station, each jig gets 2 GPUs and any 8-pin PCIe power connectors. Then we get our fan header, followed by capacitors, some more capacitors, and finally, capacitors. Once that's all done, the back side of the board gets sprayed with flux. Then it gets pizza ovened again until the end of this machine where, oh my God, that is the coolest thing ever. The back of the board runs across a liquid solder waterfall in order to solder all of the through-board components. Man, I feel like a kid in a digital candy store here. After the backside gets soldered, our little tray gets plopped onto this little green belt and goes down for manual inspection. Oh, for some reason I thought it was gonna slide, but that makes more sense. If there's adequate coverage of solder, it goes into the middle. And if there isn't, it goes to the next station. Sometimes there just isn't quite enough solder, or 2 of the points are accidentally bridged, and that can be quickly repaired by a skilled technician. The touched up boards then get cleaned, all the schmoo gets removed. Then all the boards come back together for a final visual inspection, and our QA technician at the end of the line scans a QR code and says, hey, I checked this, it's definitely good to go. Moving upstairs, you can see we've upgraded the GPUs we're working on a little bit here. These are bound for 7800 XT Hellhound Sakura editions, just like you saw in our cutest PC video. And stage 1 is, yes, visual inspection again, I guess. For what? To make sure nothing broke? Yeah, to be extra good and sure. With that out of the way, it's time for assembly to begin in earnest, starting with little plastic washers over all the screw holes to make sure the PCB doesn't get scratched. I/O plate and, screwing on the I/O plate, that's very important. Next up, back plates go on, followed by those also being screwed in, which is equally important because you don't want your GPU to arrive in pieces. Then, oh God, I love these coolers. That looks gorgeous. All the protective peels come off the thermal pads and pre-applied thermal goop. Oh, that one didn't have any peels on it. I swear I saw one with peels earlier. I'm not gonna worry about that. The point is, the fan gets plugged in here. Then we've got 1, 2, 3 stations that all apply screws to the cooler through the back of the card, followed by another visual inspection that I think could best be described as sanity check, you know? Does the fan spin? Also a good thing. Wait, what about second final station where each one of these cards gets loaded onto a test bench? They gotta have a lot of test benches. Yes, they do. And unlike the assembly lines, this part of the factory runs 24/7, with every single GPU being loaded into a full Windows environment and running a combination of AMD diagnostic tools and enthusiast ones like Unigine Heaven and FurMark. But hold on a second, one of these things is not like the other. The motherboard's in sideways, and that doesn't look like any desktop graphics card I've ever seen. That's because it's not. It's a mobile GPU, specifically the one for, investment disclosure, Framework, for the Framework 16. Massive shout out, by the way, to Tool for being willing to take on this weird, low volume product in an effort to make laptops less disposable. Super cool, really appreciate you guys. And appreciate Framework too for helping hook us up with this tour in the first place. Sorry, it's going back. This next room isn't technically part of production, it's more part of development. But on the subject of non-disposability, every new model, oh my God, goes through reliability testing in a 45-degree chamber for an extended period burn-in to ensure that it's not gonna have issues out in the field. Oh, this is truly awful. Then, when they're done in here, they go to the 0-degree chamber to make sure that, I don't know, you can game in Antarctica? Coming back to production, it's time for the final step, retail packaging. Now, unfortunately, they're not packaging any GPUs right now, so half of the line here isn't even in use, but rather, they're packing up Framework dual M.2 SSD carriers. This first station is flashing firmware. Then, the serial number of the board gets paired with the QR code on the sticker for the packaging. Then it gets bagged, boxed into a bigger master carton box, and sent off. Everyone gets a souvenir GPU today, right? Nope, they all go here instead, where they're staged on pallets in preparation for shipping to markets like Hong Kong and probably to my friends in the good old US and A. So if you're an American, this right here could be your next GPU. That one. As long as everything goes according to plan. If it doesn't, it ends up here. The team here handles both internal failures from the production line, trying to rework or salvage any valuable components, as well as failures from end users. This station gives us an error code telling us what exactly is wrong with the card. In this case, it's a bad GPU, which means it goes in the pile and gets transferred over to the other side of the RMA department, where the board gets heated up and the GPU gets removed. Then we go to my friend, the Baller. He takes a brand new GPU, installs it in one of these little jigs, and then he's got these little tiny balls of solder that he basically plays, you know those little games that you play as a kid where you have to get all the little balls and all the little holes? Well, he plays that on a GPU, and if he misses one, guess what? The card no working. Then it goes in the oven where all of the balls get melted and it's ready to be remounted. Now, under normal circumstances, when they find a defective GPU, they just send it to AMD to test, but we asked them very nicely to show us the manual reballing process, so they did. Thanks, guys. Since we were already imposing anyway, we asked very nicely if they could show off the full capabilities of their latest generation BGA rework station and put a GPU back on for us. So my friend is now applying solder paste to the board itself using, another mask. Now the GPU and the prepared board get loaded back into the rework station, heated, aligned, and reapplied. Obviously, guys, this is not the kind of thing that you would want to do very often, but for diagnostic purposes, sometimes it is necessary. What an incredible tour. Massive shout out to Tool for their hospitality today, and of course Framework, who helped hook us up with this. Tool asked me to just take one of these random 7800 XT Sakura editions and put a little signature on it. They said if you don't want it, they'll handle the RMA, but I'm just gonna, put a little So there you have it. If you buy a 7800 XT Sakura edition, it might be signed. Hopefully that's something you want.
At Linus Media Group, the business team has to do a ton of communication, coordination, and writing. For better or worse, that's where Grammarly comes in. They're an AI writing partner that works where you work. And upgrading to Grammarly Premium has saved our business team more time thanks to useful features like tone suggestions. This ensures that the tone of the writing is never too formal nor too friendly. It's not what you say, but how you say it. Tone matters. Now, they can tell Linus to stop dropping things so often without being rude. Plus, with the Premium App Actions feature, they can now link Google Drive links, create tasks on Monday.com, or insert GIFs into their emails in one place without switching tabs. And by upgrading to Grammarly Premium, they even get access to 1,000 prompts per month. Sign up and upgrade to Grammarly Premium at Grammarly.com/LTT06.
We'll chuck this at the end. Guess we found a broken GPU on the framework line, so QA, it works. And you guys watching to the end of this video works for learning how GPUs are made. If you enjoyed this video, hey, why not check out the Micron factory tour where we saw a different SMT line where I made my own memory module. That was pretty cool.
Ranjo Stenja. Jonsha. Gorodam.
Gala Negosa, Hakana Sagamas.
Helmadelka.
Caponata.
Chi vuole? Patmos, Gio? Patmos, Gio?